The Cheetah pattern awaited the players in round 3 of Cashers qualifying and round 11 overall.
300 and something pins behind Jesper. Certainly not an easy thing to chase down, especially when Jesper's bowling so great.
Jesper Svensson stayed in front, posting the 3rd best block of the round and increasing his overall lead to a nearly insurmountable 362 pins by the end of 5 games.
Just talking about controlling the speed on the right lane and the fact that he picked it up good with a nice 4-bagger. Just do your thing, you'll be just fine.
Jason Belmonte remained in second.
My goal is to literally knock over every single pin that stands in front of me every time. So if I do that and I'm able to catch him, whilst it's unlikely, that's awesome. But honestly, my goal is not to worry about anyone else in the field, just do my thing.
His lead over 3rd was made a little smaller by Ryan Ciminelli, whose 12.54 block tied with Kim Ballaby for the best of the round.
Ryan's actually on fresh for all 5 this time. We really only have one ball that looks great for this pattern, and so we kind of scammed it through qualifying. It's still his best look by a long shot. Being on fresh, he's going to be able to stay in this. Ideally, we'd like to have a couple hundred pins on the show after this block. And then, hey, I mean, we drilled a couple of balls for Scorpion. He had a plus 200 block on Scorpion, but he also had a plus 26. We want to be prepared in case that looks just not quite as good.
Ciminelli took the 3rd spot from Kyle Troop, who fell to 5th. Bill O'Neill finished the round in 6th, exactly where he was after each of the first 2 Cashers rounds.
They're playing a little tighter today on Cheetah. We decided to actually use a big ball, big core, put a little extra surface on it so we could throw it hard. I think we got a good game plan. Obviously, these were his 2 best patterns of the week. We'll just go from there and see how it plays out.
Francois Lavoie, still very much in contention, continued his ascension up the leaderboard, putting himself in 8th with 5 games to play. Behind O'Neill and just 3 pins ahead of Lavoie was Matt McNeil, who was looking to improve his World Championship finish from each of the last 2 years when he finished 11th. Still with a chance to get into the top 5 with a good final block was Anthony Pepe, who rolled 12-13 on Cheetah to get into 9th.
I've just been trying to stay consistent from day to day, make my spares, keep the pocket in front of me.
A few pins back of Pepe were Sean Rash and Marshall Kent, the last 2 players with a realistic shot at making the show. Tom Smallwood's chances continued to dwindle as he was only 20 over on the round. Among players who posted huge blocks, Matt Sanders may have had the most significant, rolling 12-32 to get inside the top 5 for the first time.
Haven't really had a big block all week compared to some of the other guys, so to have a block like that was pretty cool. I'm ready for next 5. That's over with now, so be ready in about 2 hours and come and do it again, hopefully.
It's great to be here for the final 5 games of this World Series of Bowling as we make the cut to our top 5 players.
A couple of spots looked like they're pretty well set. Jesper Svensson, Jason Belmonte, they're in great shape, well ahead of the top 5. Ryan Ciminelli, he's pretty close to being there as well.
Yeah.
The next couple spots, there's 4 or 5 players that really have a legitimate shot for getting that last 4th or 5th spot in the Stepladder finals.
Jesper Svensson accumulated 336 more pins than his closest competitor and will bowl for the title.
I just can't think too much about what have happened during the qualifying, even though I was in the lead by like 300 pins. Doesn't really matter now. It's just gonna come down to one game and I have to do well in that game, otherwise I'm not gonna have a chance.
Jason Belmonte held on to 2nd.
The World Championship is one of the 2 majors that I haven't won. They're very important to me, so to qualify 2nd this week and to give myself a chance to tick those off the list is obviously really important.
Ryan Ciminelli claimed 3rd with 2 good final day blocks.
I felt more comfortable than I have in the past in that position. I can't really explain why, especially because the night pattern was my least favorite one. I started off strong. My shot making, my execution was in its prime. I guess I just picked the right day to wake up on the right side of the bed.
Kyle Troop quickly secured the 4th spot, opening with a pair of 250 games, leaving just 1 berth remaining in the stepladder.
I was rolling off of confidence. I started out pretty good for the week, had that big block on Shark, and just kind of went rolling with it for the week, and we made the show.
Entering the 60th and final game of World Championship qualifying, 4 players had a chance at that single opportunity. Sean Rash, coming off a low previous game, needed a huge finish, but couldn't get it. Francois Lavoie had been steadily climbing the leaderboard throughout Kasher's qualifying and rolled a 300 in the third game of the block, but followed his perfect game with 201 and 182, leaving him in 7th. It came down to Bill O'Neill and Matt Sanders, bowling on the same pair. O'Neill had a 49-pin advantage over Sanders going into the game, but Sanders cut into that deficit early.
O'Neill trying to get back on the strike bus, and it has left him. Better shot from O'Neill in the left-hand lane, back in the pocket. Beautiful shot. One more. He's got the fast track to the 5th position right now. With his strike here, would lock it up for him, I believe. Cool customer. That was a little bit right off his hand, but he's got some room there.
What a performance.
Throughout the day, I just didn't do my part. Probably nerves, probably a bunch of everything. Halfway through game 4, I started to feel a little better. It took way too long, and then I went to that pair and made a little move and threw really good shots that game finally, and it all fell.
Watch the PBA World Championship Stepladder Finals Sunday on ESPN. Subscribe to the PBA YouTube channel and visit next week for the final episode of World Series of Bowling Chronicles, featuring an inside look at the World Championship telecast.
My prediction is that Jesper will bowl 269. I think he'll strike to the 9th and then leave like something stupid.